Hello guys, Paul here. Welcome to RATV. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Today, we're going for a test drive in another top quality Assetto Corsa mod. This beautiful imagery that you see behind me is some interior shots of the wonderful Porsche 956 1600. Here we go. Porsche 956A 1600GS Carrera GT Coupe. Yes, that is a mouthful, but it's well worth trying to talk through the name in order to get on track and drive this beautiful, historic Porsche in Assetto Corsa. It's iconic looking, looks a bit like a Beetle, goes sideways, isn't overly fast, and is a whole bag load of fun. So I'm looking forward to taking it on track and sharing with you guys my opinions, impressions, and overall feeling of what is another very welcome and wonderful historic car mod for Assetto Corsa. So, let's get trackside. So, we're at the Brands Hatch even Indy circuit in the Porsche 956A 1600GS Coupe. A mouthful of a car. It's small in size, but very big in personality and nature. And I'm looking forward to turning some laps around this small British circuit and no doubt doing a little bit of seesawing at the wheel, which we've already started, heading down a Graham Hill Bend. Hey, I love historic cars. This is my kind of bag. And this car, it's not got a lot of horsepower. It's a 1600. It doesn't go particularly fast in straight lines. In fact, short of driving a lorry, this is probably going to be the slowest lap of Brands Hatch you'll ever see. But you don't need to go fast to have fun, people. That is something that folk often forget, and they always clamour for the Formula 1 car type things. And actually that, in my honest opinion, is a bit of a mistake. These cars are not precision automobiles. This is not something that you point into a corner, squirt the loud pedal, and away you go. This is something you do what I've just done then. You have to take your hands off the wheel and apply full 900 degrees lock to lock, because it goes sideways. It goes sideways a lot, and you don't have to be going fast to go sideways. So get it broke, get down to speed, get a little bit of drift going on, and that's beautiful. What a wonderful car, and the mod author has done an absolutely fabulous job of making a very exciting car to drive. So I had to take my hands off the wheel again to get enough rotation in the opposite direction to which I'm driving in order to keep this thing going in a straight line. Now, this is a relatively old mod for Assetto Corsa now. It's been out for a while, but it's quality, and I've not driven anything historic like this for a while, so I thought it deserved the race department talk and drive treatment, and I have not been disappointed at all in driving the car. Apologies for the little pause and delay there as I concentrated on keeping it on the tarmac. It really is a fun little car to drive, and is absolutely something that people like myself who are fans of historic racing, who think sideways in a race environment is a clever thing to do. Folk, I recommend this. It's lovely fun. It really does offer up such an enjoyable driving experience. The force feedback and the way the car handles is so smooth. You can say that again, but using words. You can effortlessly. Good lord, that were a lot harder to say than I expected it to be. You can effortlessly move this from going in a straight line to going sideways without any need to have drifting skills or cat-like reflexes whatsoever. It's just the transition between grip and slide is so smooth, it's so neat that it wants to go sideways. It's harder to not go sideways than it is to get the back end out and have yourself some looking through your side window to see which way straight is. It's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. There's nothing else I can really say other than it's a lot of fun. I dare say it's probably been overdone slightly. Otherwise, anyone who bought one of these cars would probably go and kill themselves on the open road. I think it's exaggerated. It's fair to say the amount of driftability of one of these cars. I mean, I'm basing that on assumptions. I don't know. I've not driven one of these before, and I have certainly not driven one of these in anger on a racetrack and a race-prepared variant like the one in which we're driving today. There we go. Hands fully off the wheel, get enough, wind enough lock on. So this could be, as far as I know, absolutely a perfect representation of what this thing drives like in real life. But I suspect it probably isn't. And to be honest, if it's not, you can forgive that in this mod because, well, you guessed it, it's fun. F-U-N, fun, exclamation mark. It's just a hoot, an absolute wild ride. It doesn't go fast, so it could be perceived as boring. If this was a modern car that had plenty of grip and very little horsepower, if this was a 1.1 Fiesta or something like that, it probably will be dull as dishwater. Because you're going sideways, because you're seesawing at the wheel so much in order to get the car in and round the corners, it's just an absolute pleasure. It's obviously got, because of its age, a H-pattern. Whoa, a H-pattern gearbox. He's got a bit of a wobble on because I've tapped his back end. So you've got all the fun that comes with heel and toe in as well to add into the mix to make it a little bit more spicy. And yeah, these are my kinds of car. I do enjoy this sort of thing, and I mean we're driving fairly steadily because we're doing a talk and drive, so I've got to concentrate on what I'm saying as well, and I want to stay in the midst of the pack so you can enjoy the car. And maybe I'm exaggerating slightly the sliding capabilities just to give us something to look at on the replay, but yeah, this is, as I say, just bonkers fun. Oh. Sliding on the grass though makes your back end go out even further, so you can lose it. So there you go. I'm saying it's an easy slide, but it can go above and beyond what you can recover. So that's worth bearing in mind, especially when you're turning in on grass, which in any car from any period is not an intelligent thing to do. But you can almost get lulled. That's a good way of putting it. There we go. That's my racing driver excuse. You can almost get lulled into a false sense of security with these cars because it's so slow, because it comes so naturally and easily to you to take the car above and beyond the limits and go slippy slidey time. It can sort of lull you into the false sense of security that you can do anything with it and you don't really need to concentrate. And that's a dangerous thing because you do what I've just done then and you'll pop a wheel on the grass, and then it's going to go around and you've lost it, it's game over. So just bear that in mind. I know personally when I'm racing, real or virtual, I am better when the pressure's on and I've got to focus on what I'm doing. If I'm doing tyre conservation or fuel conservation, or it's the last 2 or 3 laps and there's nothing to be gained or lost from pushing, that's when I'm at my most vulnerable because concentration tends to slip away and you lose your focus, and then that's when you do stupid things. And because this car is just so straightforward to drive, it can lull you into that false sense of security very, very quickly. I think, oh come on, I'm doing about 90 miles an hour. There's no way you can lose a car at 90 miles an hour, even driving with your eyes closed. But you can quite easily. So just bear that in mind, folks. And don't be put off. If you're watching this video thinking, wow, that's slow, do not be put off by the lack of outright pace. It's not got a lot of grunt, but it's got so much character and personality. It's a wonderful little car, and the Porsche 956 was a wonderful car as well. It's got a lot of the VW Beetle styling characteristics. You can really tell by that swooped rear end and the engine in the back. It really does. It's just got some old school cool. There we go, hands off the steering wheel again, do a little catch. Could really do with a round steering wheel. I'm running a Momo rim at the moment that's round but flat on the bottom, which is great for leg clearance, but can make it a little bit more difficult catching fully when you've got to go from lock to lock to keep the car on the track. It can be a little bit more difficult. But complaining aside, that's not a bad problem. I don't mind having that kind of issue. I like going on the lock stops. It's a pleasing experience when you catch that slow, when you're drifting it on the edge of what it's capable of doing and you're turning left into a right-hander. That, ladies and gentlemen, is very much my bag, my kind of thing. Let's max these revs out, heading into the left, right, and then into the final turn of the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, which, just to cover that little base in case we've got people watching that are not massively au fait with Assetto Corsa, Brands Hatch Indy is a track that comes as part of Assetto Corsa. It's a laser scanned version of the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit and Indy circuit in Kent in the UK, and it's a very fine recreation of the circuit indeed. Laser scan technology, of course, is where you put little lasers all over the real world track and it picks up all the measurements, the bumps, the undulations, and transfers it into the software for you to create within game. So the advantage of that is you've got basically millimetre accuracy at a racetrack. So you can put all the bumps, the cambers, the undulations, the measurements, the degrees of angle for the corners. It is pretty much an exact replica of the real thing. And it's a massive technology for sim racing. All the Kunos tracks for Assetto Corsa are laser scanned, and they've all got that level of accuracy to the real thing, which improves the game experience absolutely no end, because you know what you're driving on. Within the limitations of the sim software, of course, is pretty much spot on to the real thing. And for people like me who enjoy authenticity, that is massive, because there's nothing more exciting than knowing I could head on off down to Kent, get myself a racing car, and I would know what to expect from Brands Hatch in terms of layout and topography and all that good stuff for this wonderful former Formula 1 Grand Prix hosting racetrack down in the south of England. Really good track, and this comes as part of the Assetto Corsa offering. So this is Kunos created, is Brands Hatch, but the car we're driving is very much not. This is a mod, a community created piece of content available for free at RaceDepartment for your sim racing enjoyment. So, about the car. Well, see, it's a Porsche 956A 1600, so not the fastest thing in the world. It's an historic car, so it's very much from in period. It's got nothing pretty much in the way of electronics. It's just how a car should be: wheels, tyre, engine, chassis, steering wheel, seat, smiles. That's pretty much what's in this one, and that's pretty much how racing should be, in my opinion, but we will not go there today. Today's not a day for debating the evils of modern technology, safety standards, and stupid DRS hybrid systems and all that garbage. Nope, that's not for today. We're going to bask in the glory of the olden days in this 956. And the car is currently, oops, sorry my friend, give you a little tap. The car is at 0.9 release state version. That's basically pretty much down to the fact it doesn't have any LODs yet. So some people, although I'm grateful to say I'm not one at the moment, may suffer from some small performance issues in a tightly packed field due to the level of details. Basically a LOD. What happens with a LOD, and I'm coming from a layman's point of view, so I will talk in simple terms. A lot of cars have multiple levels of detail, they're called. So when you're up close, you're seeing all the visual goodies of the car that's available to enjoy. All the fine detail, everything that's been baked into the car to give it the visual look it has. As you move, the idea of a LOD is as the car is further away from your view, rather than taking up all the computing capacity of your machine by replicating that detail for a car that's way off in the distance, it will put a LOD B, which is a slightly less detailed, slightly less performance hungry model, onto screen. So you see those cars in front of us going into Paddock Hill Bend. I can't see the detail because they're that far away. So the LOD B, or even the LOD C, which is an even less detailed version, would kick in. So I could still see the car. Hopefully it wouldn't be noticeable to the vision, certainly in a race environment, but it would save considerably on performance as your PC's not trying to process all that visual goodness for something that basically has got no effect on what's happening to you. And as such, that allows the FPS, the frames per second, the all-important marker for how smooth the product is on track, that allows the FPS to be used elsewhere, giving you, hopefully, a higher frame rate and a smoother and more enjoyable experience. A lot of the first-party content, of course, has these LODs, and a lot of the mods out there also have really good LODs or LODs, if you want to call them that, within their cars. But at the moment, as it stands now in January 2019, this Porsche 956 doesn't have those LODs available. So you will be rendering, the computer will be rendering the highest detail version of the car for any vehicle it sees on screen. Now I've got 21 cars on track with me, I think, at Brands Hatch, although we are a little bit spread out now, and it doesn't seem to be affecting me in a negative way at the moment, although I have got a reasonably powerful PC which to play with. But in more taxing environments or during heavy on-screen action, that may be an issue for some people, hence the version 0.9 rather than version 1 status that the author has attached to this current build of the 956. We get a little bit leery coming into the final turn, but we get away with it. So that's something to bear in mind. I think the car is quite small. The car is, it's got a lot of detail on it for what it is, but it's a simple car in its design. So a lack of LODs is not as critical on something like this as it would be on, let's say, a mid-2000s Formula 1 car with all the 1001 different appendages that it's got on and the absolute maximum detail of something like that. So it probably won't be that critical of an issue for a discerning sim racer who decides download this and give it a race. But your mileage may vary from my own, so just bear it in mind. Other than that, from my ignorant perspective, everything else looks pretty much spot on. The car itself is so nice and clean. It's a very nice, neat, clean car anyway, and the 3D model that's been presented within Assetto Corsa for this mod mimics that cleanliness. It's a really sharply put together, nice car inside and out. Let's have a quick... No, wrong button, no matter. It's a really nicely, sharply put together, clean 3D model. Very well done. Looks really nice inside and outside the car. And I'm really impressed with that one. According to the release notes on the download over at RD, which we had on the screen at the beginning of this video, there is a mention from the author that the sounds between low and high revs might need a little bit of improvement in future builds, but from what I've heard up to this point, it's perfectly acceptable. I've got no qualms at all about the audio aspect of the car, but there is room allegedly for improvements to be found. So we do a Matt Neal, get him on the inside. But Matt doesn't have that problem in his Honda Civic bricks turning car. We caught it, so no danger. Yes, it sounds fine to me, the audio. I've not noticed anything particularly jarring or upsetting or worrying about that one at all. So it'll be interesting to see if anything comes of future updates. I forget now the exact release date of this car. It is the thick end of 12 months old now at the time of recording this video. So whether future updates or not are planned. They were originally in the initial release, but we've seen nothing of late, so frankly I'm not sure of the release status in terms of updates yet, but what we've got now, this very moment in time, is excellent. It's really there's nothing that I would look at this and think, you need to do something to make it playable. Nothing at all. It's brill. Oh, sorry my friend, give him a little tap because he broke a lot earlier than we were able to. As we do another get your hands off the wheel and catch the slide moment. Beautiful. So all in all, it's a really, really good, really solid, really enjoyable mod. And as I've said probably 50 times already in this video, it's fun. It's massive amounts of fun. They've done a really nice job with physics, I think, to really get something enjoyable. But this is quite hard to describe. I don't know how best to put it, but the physics feel smooth, if that makes sense to you. You do get some cars that are also quite slippery, like this one, that want to go sideways, and it can feel a little bit coggy and a little bit jerky in the way that the grip on, grip off are represented within the car itself and the force feedback. But in this one, it all seems to transition quite nicely. Now, whether that's an exaggerated slidability of the car, so it's built in to the car, almost like a drift car, really, that when you turn the wheel, the slide's going to initiate immediately, rather than meeting a point where grip ceases and the car starts to pivot more than you need it to. I don't know the reasoning behind how they've got it like this, but it just feels oh so silky behind the wheel, on the screen, and from the actual raw physics themselves. And that's a really enjoyable experience. It's calming almost to drive, despite the amount of gymnastics you have to perform on the steering wheel. It feels just really, it feels right. That's a good way of putting it. It just feels right to drive. It might not be right, it might be far from it for all I know, but it just, yeah. If I had half an hour to fire a sim up, which would be nice if I actually did, but that's rare nowadays. If I had half an hour to fire a sim up and I wanted something that would take me sideways, I'd take this out, or I'd take the Alpha that we drove a few months ago now, actually, in another Talk and Drive video, because it's just a great car. It's a great car to teach. It's a great mod in which to teach somebody all about car control and counter steering, because it's quite simple, but you need to put dramatic amounts of locking. I mean, look at the steering wheel in the sim. Not so much through there, but if you watch the wheel for the rest of this video, it's huge amounts of lock you need to apply. There's an initial small amount of understeer if you're not carrying enough speed into the corner, but then you've got to wind it on almost fully in the opposite direction to be able to get the thing round the corner. So it's a great car in which, don't watch the steering wheel on this one because I'm about to engage in an accident. It's a great car in which to learn the basics, a counter steering opposite lock, correcting a slide, whatever you want to call it. So I got a CPU warning, an occupancy warning, which is alarming. I've had one of those for a while. But yeah, we'll worry about that another time. So yeah, it's a lovely car for somebody who's maybe not initiated in the ways of older, more historic racing content. Because obviously, nowadays in motorsport, in pretty much every class of motorsport, from the junior level right the way up to Formula 1, and correctly so, you see the fastest way to get round a track is to use as little road as humanly possible, basically. To get from point A to point B as fast as you possibly can is all about minimising the distance between the green flag and the checkered flag. Economy of movements, not losing momentum, keeping the car neat, tidy, pinpoint accurate, the racing lines, getting on the throttle as early as you can, the brakes as late as you can. That's what modern motor racing, pretty much because of aerodynamics and the advances in tyre technology. Excuse me. Had another little tap which has put me round because we're right on the edge of grip here. Surprised by that one. I thought we'd quite easily make that, but there we go. That's my inexperience racing against these cars showing in. So yeah, modern racing cars are a lot like that, where it's all about maximising the last 0.1%. Whereas older racing cars such as this, and even in the Formula 1, the 60s and 70s, because of the nature of the characteristics of the cars, drifting is very much the way to go quickly. Putting a car into a corner, getting the thing sliding, losing speed through the slide rather than slowing it down, turning it in, waiting for it to grip, getting back on the power. If you can go in a four-wheel drift, get the car sliding through the arc of the corner, then you can get on the throttle, manage the car with the accelerator pedal and slide it through there. That was very much the skill set requirement of back in the day, and these cars are a wonderful exponent of that. Going through a corner in a mild or not so mild as the case may be drift is the way to drive fast, and that's a skill that's lost, I think, a lot in modern racing because it's just not needed. If you're going sideways, you're going slowly, whereas it's not so with cars like this. And it's wonderful that we can have that recreated in a sim like Assetto Corsa. Assetto Corsa does sideways oh so very well. It just seems to be one of those titles that really lends itself to sliding a car of limited grip like this one. And this car, this Porsche 356A 1600GS, whatever it was, really takes advantage of that strong point of the sim to produce a very pleasant driving experience. And as I said, as I began to say before we got off on a tangent and had some grassy action as well, this is a wonderful car in which to either teach yourself how to go sideways or just to build some confidence sliding a car. It's a remarkable little motor, to be perfectly honest, and yeah, pretty much I love it. Very nice. Don't go on a big track. I would suggest not bothering driving this on somewhere like Silverstone or Monza, because that would get boring very quickly indeed due to the lack of speed, inherent pace within the car, and horsepower and straight line speed and all that good stuff. But on somewhere that's twisty, we've gone for brands because it's nice and short and straightforward, but can you imagine some of the twisty first and third party tracks that are available, especially some of the epic historic circuits that have crept up and continue to creep up over time for Assetto Corsa. I can imagine that would make this car absolutely sing in the proper environment and give you one heck of a good driving experience. So if you've not done already, go out, give it a download, give it a spin for yourself. You will not be disappointed of that, I am absolutely sure. And that really is pretty much all there is to say. it's available now, as I mentioned earlier, at RaceDepartment.com. Frankly, I don't know what the status is with it in terms of any future updates, although to be perfectly honest, I don't really think it needs any. There's not a lot that you can do to this to make it better based on the intentions of what the car is and what the author wishes to achieve with this motor. It does what it does, and it does it very well. I will talk about the AI very briefly. We're using a stock Kunos track, so one would hope the AI is configured for AC as well as it's ever going to be. And these are difficult cars. They are springy on their suspension, and they are sideways and challenging to drive. And the AI behaves itself really well. You can see from this race, I mean, I had a couple of bits of contact with the AI and put that car into a wobble, the other car into a wobble, so they're not, as some are, absolute rock solid bricks that are removable, but also if you hit it at the wrong point, like we did into the final turn a few laps ago, it will spin you around because you are already, and that's the thing to remember, you're already sliding, you're already past the point of where grip is still available to you. So tapping the car will just send it around, basically. It'll loop you off into a spin, and then that'll be the end of that little adventure for you. So you need to bear that in mind, you need to be cautious when racing the AI. They're not ridiculously fast. You can see, certainly at Brands Hatch, we've caught this field up after our last bit of off-track shenanigans quite quickly indeed. Well, I had to be careful then, I thought it was going to spin us round if I'd have caught his rear quarter. But they do a really good job. The AI in Assetto Corsa is not particularly fabulous, let's be honest. It's not the strongest. And I think considering the limitations that are within the software, the AI is plenty serviceable for these cars. I believe a balance of performance has been applied as well, so they will fit with some of the other period vehicles from Kunos. So they should be able to race against a few others, get it off to Goodwood and do a touring GT race. That'll be actually thinking about it. If I'd have thought about that, I would have done that for this video rather than Brands Hatch, but I didn't think about it, and it's almost finished now, so I'm not going to be starting that one again. But yeah, the AI is really quite solid. Really nice job. Don't think we've got anything to complain about. It's as good as it's going to be. Could do with maybe being a second too faster per lap, potentially, because I'm not trying very hard here at all. And I've managed to catch this pack back up, left the guy that we've just overtaken for dead behind us. So maybe if you want a truly challenging race against the computer, then you've got to. You could do with another couple of seconds lap time applying to them, a couple of seconds shaving off the lap time applying to them on this circuit. But we all know that the real fun's online, so come to Race Department and do a club race. Don't bother with offline racing. Racing against real people is where it's at. A lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had. There's nothing wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong racing offline. In fact, I personally do a lot of that myself due to time limitations and all that good stuff. But the real pleasure, of course, is racing it online, because you just can't beat the interaction with a grid full of fellow human beings who know what they're doing, who want clean racing, who don't do stupid things like that. That's where the real fun comes in. But if you can't do that, for whatever reason, and you wish to race against the computer, then yes, the AI in these cars is perfectly serviceable indeed, and you shouldn't have too much in the way of problems, I wouldn't think. Certainly at Brands Hatch anyway. I can't vouch for the other circuits, both first party and modded, within Assetto Corsa today. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much it. So it's just really down for me to tell you that this car is at Race Department. It's in the Assetto Corsa download section, so go over, have a go, see what you think. And to thank you, as always, for tuning in to RDTV today. I do genuinely appreciate you taking time, important time, idealised, to watch these videos, and I do hope you find them interesting, informative and entertaining. We're not, or I'm not, the pitch I'm trying to make with these videos is not a laugh-a-minute entertainment show. I do think, being Race Department, there's a responsibility to be unbiased and informative and try and share a little bit of the sim racing world with you. Well, being interesting, obviously, I've got to be slightly interesting, it can't be all po-faced and serious. But I hope we manage to achieve what we set out to do, and we inform and entertain and delight in equal measure. So, give me a like and a subscribe on our Twitch and YouTube channel. If you haven't already, that would be amazing, please. Stay safe, enjoy sim racing. Until next time, I've been Paul. This has been RDTV. We've been in Assetto Corsa, and we've been driving this, the Porsche 356A mod. Until next time, sim racing's over.